Just for today, the second most important bar in the room, Andy Barr from Kentucky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and definitely the second most important. Mr. Chairman, thank you for your leadership on the committee. Thank you for the bipartisan manner in which you've led our committee. Your leadership will be missed. Attorney General Barr, to our other witnesses, thank you for highlighting this, and to the families who have lost loved ones to the scourge, thank you for being here and sharing your stories with us. I represent the Commonwealth of Kentucky, which unfortunately suffers from the fourth highest drug overdose mortality rate in the country, according to recent statistics by published by the CDC. And 72% of our overdose deaths in Kentucky are attributable to fentanyl. So this is personal to me and to my constituents. Attorney General Barr, you testified that we should use our economic power to hold the CCP accountable for its role in producing 97% of illicit fentanyl precursors and promoting its distribution. In July 2023, the House passed my bill, the Stop Chinese Fentanyl Act, which changes the definition of foreign opioid trafficker to specify that the term includes certain Chinese entities and government officials that fail to take steps to prevent opioid trafficking, potentially subjecting them to sanctions. As the report stated, many of these opioid traffickers rely on legitimate businesses to stay alive and get products into the United States. What would be the impact on the fentanyl trade if we were to fully sanction many of these known precursor producers that are identified in the report?
I think you're putting your finger, I think, on one of their vulnerabilities. The fact that a lot of companies are, in fact, engaged in substantial lawful enterprises and do this on the side is a vulnerability. And you sort of have to ask your question, why does the PRC government have to subsidize this activity to get them to do it? Non-prosecution, just, letting them do it, they would do it. But they actually have to be incented to do it by the government, which means to me that if we create strong disincentives, like consequences for their legal business, sanctions, personally and against their business, and the ability of people with judgments to chase the property of these companies around the world, I think we would change their state of mind very quickly.
Thank you. And General Barr, in February at the Biden-Xi meeting at APEC, an agreement was struck to delist China's Institute of Forensic Science, which has been tied to human rights abuses against the Uyghur population, from Commerce's entity list in exchange for cooperation from the Chinese on stopping fentanyl precursor production. That was November of 2023. Based on the findings of the committee's report, it seems the subsidies for the production and export of fentanyl precursors from China is still very much alive and well. So the question is, since the Biden-Xi meeting, would you say that China has upheld its end of the agreement?
It doesn't appear to me that they have, and I think the problem with China is not carrots to live up to their obligations. We need some sticks.
Mr. Donovan, would you agree with that the APEC agreement has failed to curb the CCP's production and distribution of fentanyl?
I'd say that it has not changed the CCP's willingness to support the chemical industry, the illicit chemical industry, to the Western Hemisphere. So they continue to support that. We need to apply more pressure.
Mr. Luckey?
I would suggest it was a good agreement reached, but the action and response on China to the agreement has not been upheld.
Yeah, so I think these upfront concessions, in the hopes that on the back end there will be some reciprocity by the Chinese, is a fool's errand, and that we need to pursue sanctions as a way of deterring further bad activities. Since the Biden-Xi meeting, would you say, based on your own knowledge, Mr. Barr, and the findings of this report, that the PRC has in any way meaningfully taken any steps to reduce the production of fentanyl precursors?
I'm not aware of any material steps that they've taken.
Well, my time has expired, but once again, I think the policy solution needs to be sanctions, holding the CCP accountable. and we're not doing enough on the sanctions front to hold them accountable. This is a scourge, and I appreciate the ranking member and the chairman for highlighting this, and for the families who are here. We are working on this for all of you and for my constituents back home. And with that, I yield.